Dinner. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Imagine hating on me for eating dinner. You hear that,
Nobody
man?
likes you. Nobody likes you.
That's not true.
I can't think of three
FC
people.
Cincinnati fans love me.
They're enemies of the pod, so it doesn't matter. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players Podcast. We are on episode 47 of season 3. We continue with World Cup previews. LAFC just booked their ticket to the MLS Cup final, but we don't care because none of our teams are back in it. So, see ya.
Yep.
We're just kidding. We'll live stream MLS Cup, Connor and I.
That's a bold claim.
He
You
didn't
don't
he
you
didn't
don't
know
know my
that.
schedule.
He didn't know that until now, but we are. It's Group B today, the most important group, and actually, as I was doing some research, one of the toughest groups ranking wise. All the teams,
Is it not the toughest group ranking wise?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't checked the other groups, but all of our teams are top 20 in the world right now.
Yeah,
That's
kind of like the
crazy.
group of death or something.
Kind of. Everybody thinks, oh,
Even
well,
though all the teams are in, with the exception of maybe Iran, are in awful form.
yeah, right. Tell me. Um, so we'll go through. We've got, of course, Iran, as just previously mentioned. We've got the Welsh. We've got the future World Cup winners in 2022, the United States, and we've got Penguin. So
I'm so glad you called them Penguin.
this is going to be so
I
much
was hoping
fun.
you would call them that.
This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I can't wait for the hate. Um, I would say let's jump right into it, but of course we gotta chat, man. What type of scarf are you rocking today?
I figured it was only fitting considering they have players on at least two of the teams in this group this week. I busted out the Chelsea scarf.
Euro snob.
This is for Mace. This is for Christian. This is
Could
for
you could have had it
future
if
USMNT starting goalkeeper Gaga Slanina.
you could have had it on Wales too.
Who's Wales?
Ethan Ampadu. Unless
Oh,
you forgot that he was a
true.
part of your lone army when you had 900 players out of him.
I thought he was permanently sold though.
He is now. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You could have if you brought him into your team.
buddy.
But
Yeah.
no.
Well, he's having a great time in Italy.
See, I'm not a Euro snob, and I'm also uh, loyal to my country. So
I don't have a country scarf. If
you
I did,
really
I would be
you
wearing
got to
it.
get it. You got to get it.
They're never on sale.
Wow, you make big boy money. Stop it. You're not in college anymore.
And I save it. I save my big boy money.
Wow. Look at you. I'm fiscally responsible. I don't waste all my money on a wall of scarves. Wow.
Yeah, I'm saving it so that I can go watch the World Cup. I want to go watch Christian play live.
That's what you're saving it for.
No.
uh, all righty. I think we gotta start with Penguin. I think, or should we save them for second to last? Because we're doing the U.S. last.
We could start with Penguin and end with the US. I think that's pretty good.
All right, let me give a quick summary of what this team brings to the group.
Yeah.
So they won UEFA Group A by beating San Marino and Azerbaijan and all those other really tough European teams. I don't actually know who's in their group. That's just a guess.
I
Um,
have it down if you are wondering.
I'd love to know.
It was Poland, Albania, Hungary, Andorra, and San Marino.
Somebody save that clip for when somebody comes up and says US has nobody to play against when they qualify. God, are we kidding? San Marino's the size of Rhode Island, man. uh, anyways, it's really I'm shocked they were able to get through that group into the World Cup. They're in their 16th finals appearance, looking to win it for the second time ever. Their last time they won it was in 1966. Honestly, outside of their goalkeeper, this is a waste of a national team. They might as well be Azerbaijan.
Oh, I
They
didn't know you
are
were that big of an Aaron Ramsdale fan.
stop it. They are led by the best goalkeeper in the world. They think they're tough because their league has no salary cap and they can buy whoever they want, but their national team doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Oh God,
Um,
you're gonna get so much TikTok hate thrown at you.
it's honestly going to be wild because they have the best goalkeeper in the world. They're not going to concede a single goal all group, and they're still going to come in last. I don't know how. They're going to lose. They're going to have 0 points, conceding 0 goals.
That's impressive.
Um. Oh God, where was I? My notes. It's going to be 1776 part 2 come the day after Thanksgiving. They're not ready to hold this L. And we really should talk about the fact how they had 0 wins in their Nations League group and made them wish that they were in MLS because they wouldn't have gotten relegated. That's right. We're playing against a team that got relegated. I'm not even worried.
I want to just take this whole opening clip and like this is just going to be the whole opening clip of the podcast.
USA by a billion is basically what I'm trying to say, even though they're ranked 5th in the world, like Garrett Southgate, whatever. I don't care who their coach is. USA to the moon. Penguin, get wrecked.
That's it. That's the whole preview, right?
I was gonna bring up a comment on royalty, but figured probably not, considering our leadership isn't, top standard anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. That's my little route for now. Until we get to the key players, of course. I've got great notes on them.
Oh boy.
Why
Can't
don't
wait
you
for
talk
the
to me about
Jordan
the last
Pickford
5 games?
spotlight.
Why don't we talk about the last 5 games?
Sure. So last 5 games has been Nations League. So I'm sure you can imagine the run of form has not been great. So this time I've actually put them in the correct order. So starting with the game 5 games ago for them, 1-1 draw against Germany, followed by a 0-0 draw against Italy, a 4-0 loss against Hungary, a 1-0 loss against Italy, and finally their most recent was a 3-3 draw against Germany. I added the club rankings in there. I don't know if it really matters, but
just about to ask that. Yep, go ahead.
Germany's at 11, Italy at 6, Hungary at 36.
Man, you know the reason why they lost against Hungary that badly, 5-0 on aggregate?
Let me guess. You're gonna say it's because Jordan Pickford wasn't in goal.
Actually, he wasn't in goal for the 4-0 game. Funny enough. No, it's Daniel Gazdag, MLS MVP candidate, and Slobos Shone, MLS. Former
Were they both
MLS.
playing in that game?
I'm almost certain one of them was. I'll double check really quick.
That's actually pretty interesting. I forgot that Sean was Hungarian. To be honest with you.
Gazdag came in and scored. Shone was on the bench for 4-0.
Gazdag came in and scored.
Gazdag scored. Yeah, England in the mud. I know.
MLS greater than Penguin.
Literally, like I couldn't have said it better myself. And then neither of them featured. Oh, how could I forget Daniel Shallowy as well?
Oh yeah. Did he play?
He didn't. None of them featured in the 1-0 game. The 1-0 game, excuse me. However, in the 4-0 game, as I mentioned,
yeah, Gazdag came in.
Gazdag came in and scored, and yeah, I think Shallowy was hurt at that point, so I don't think he got brought in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, MLS clear of Penguin. Penguin in the mud. Relegation confirmed.
Hex.
Yeah. Four goalless games in there for a team that's got this world-class striker. You know who would have put more goals away? DCL if he was healthy. What?
Sure.
Okay. We're supposed to be previewing this team. We're just taking a dump on him. Obviously not in great form, right? Going back to being a little bit more serious here. Not in great form. A lot of people, my head coach at Alfred is English, and I talked to him about this a little bit, and a lot of people were calling for Southgate to be fired like months before the World Cup kicked off. You think that's a little bit too far?
To say the least, I feel like it's a little. I mean, listen, I see the Greg Berhalter slander all the time, but I mean, I'm not calling for him to be sacked right now.
Yeah, I mean, 2 wins this calendar year. Both of them in friendlies. And then you go to
For England?
Yeah, for England.
That's crazy. 2 wins in the calendar year.
Yeah, so they beat Switzerland, they beat Ivory Coast in a group of friendlies in March, and then 3 losses, 3 draws in Nations.
Wow.
You go back to 2021, of course. Euro runners up, they lost in penalties. The really tough qualification where they beat San Marino 15-0 on aggregate. They beat Albania 7-0 on aggregate. They beat Andorra 9-0 on aggregate. I mean, I can't believe they got through this group, but they did. Um,
So much for going back to serious.
they had a much better 2021. They only lost one game. That was the final of the Euro Championship. But again, right? It's really what it's about is form going into the tournament. You mentioned playing Hungary, who were 36th ranked. Is that correct?
Yep.
Nobody in this group is below them, right? So they're playing tougher competition than a team that beat them 5-0. I do think there's legitimate worry. However, I don't think it's that like I don't think it's not get out of the group worry, but like make it past round of 16 worry, depending on who they get matched up with.
Yeah, I think there will be a bit more trouble in dealing with this group than there realistically should be for them. But like you said, I don't see this as like a scenario where they're in threat of not getting out of the group.
Yeah, yeah. Again, just the now transfer market when they put transfer value or market value up is completely skewed to English players. I mean, Declan Rice is not worth $89 million. Sorry, he's just not. Um, However, this team has enough talent, enough depth to be competitive at the very least. So I'm the form is worrying, but I don't see it as being that.
Yep, I hear you.
All right, key players. There's only really one we need to talk about. His name is Jordan Pickford. He's the best
There we
goalkeeper in the world, and
go.
everybody else sucks. That's it. End Mike.
I was waiting for the DCL shout, like the Fabian Delph shout,
Bro, I wouldn't even put Fabian Delph in
Michael
my.
Keane.
No, no. I'd give Connor Cody a shout before I give Michael Keane a shout. Stop it.
Cody will probably be in the team.
He might.
Probably not.
I think he'll make the trip, but
Yeah.
we're not predicting the 26. We're predicting the 11. So
Yep. Yep.
Jordan Pickford, clear of Aaron Ramsdale, clear of David De Gea, clear of anybody else.
David De Gea. How did David De Gea get into this?
I'm just saying. Like, actually, I heard David De Gea was not on the
He didn't.
Spanish. He didn't
Yeah, he
make
didn't
it.
make
That's
the
that's where it
preliminary.
came from. I was thinking about things. I saw that in my brain. That's wild. We'll talk about that when we get to group.
That was a really random shot at David De Gea that I feel like was a bit unnecessary.
That's all right. Come get me, David. Slander the pod, David. No, so listen, Jordan Pickford, as a guy who watches him pretty much week in, week out, has moments
Are you
of
really
brilliance.
spotlighting Jordan Pickford right now?
Yes, I am.
Oh my! Why? This is
Because
such a
he's the
waste of
second best
time.
goalkeeper in the group.
Yeah, probably behind Ramsdale.
Stop. Behind Sean Johnson. Stop it.
All right, go
Listen,
ahead.
he's got the ability to be world class on his day. His tendency to make fantastic saves is really, really strong. His issue is the little stuff, right? Claiming crosses, 1v1s. You know, he's a good shot stopper, but he does have issues with the basic stuff. He's prone to make an error at some point, and that's where they'll fall. That's where they'll fall down. So Jordan Pickford is one of my key players to watch for
Are
this
you
tournament.
done spotlighting England's backup goalkeeper now?
Stop.
What do you mean stop? That's the truth.
No, he's going to start. What do you mean? He's
What
going
do
to
you
start.
mean? Ramsdale
Yeah.
started, I think, every game in the Nations League for them. And yes, it didn't go well, but he got the starting spot.
Oh my gosh, he started for the Nations League and they got relegated. Let's keep going with him. Yeah. Get out of here. Your
All
next
right, so I will give you a real player here. Harry Kane. It's an obvious one. He's
pronounce it correctly.
Harry Kane.
Harry Payne.
He I would say is probably the best player on all of England. He's had a pretty decent season so far this year. 7.38 rating on SofaScore, 10 goals, 1 assist, and 13 appearances. For England, he put up a 7.99 rating in World Cup qualifying with 12 goals, 2 assists. Again, take that with a grain of salt, though. It was against Andorra, San Marino. So 7.00 rating in the Nations League, 2 goals, no assists in 6 games. Not as great of a performance there, but that was kind of consistent across all of England. Um, yeah, I mean, he's going to be the guy leading the attack. He's going to be the guy probably bagging most of the goals. He's arguably their best player and arguably the face of the team. So pretty important player, I would say.
Okay, let me fix that for you. Harry Payne, pen merchant, tap in merchant, only stands outside of 3 yards and touches the ball into the goal.
Oh.
He can't move off the ball. He gets in good spots sometimes because of his penalty merchantness. Top goal scorer in 6 different competitions, including the last World Cup. If you remember his last World Cup in 2018, 3 penalties, 2 tap ins, and one that hit him in the head as they were trying to clear it and went over the line.
I can't
He
wait
was
for these
also
clips to go on TikTok. I really can't.
he was also English Player of the Year in 16 and 17. But yeah, he'll if Harry Kane is on the field, he'll probably take the penalties, which means he'll probably score a few goals. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, sure. That works.
Okay, cool.
Now tell me about DCL, who's not even going to be on the roster.
Now my next one's Raheem Sterling. Outside of Harry Payne, he's probably their best attacker. A little dynamic, tricky, and he has added the ability to finish. I remember watching him play for Liverpool, and he couldn't tuck the ball away to save his life. He's added
Finish
that
kind of like England.
exactly. He's added that to his game over the last couple of years. Um, he does have a lot of trophies to his name for being a part of Oil Money FC, but um, being a part of that team, he's played with a lot of world class players. He's learned. He has learned how to be a winner, and he's actually, as I'm sure you know, he's taken that over to um, Chelsea with a capital L, and has been. And again, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'd say he's one of their best players currently in the attacking phase. I know Mason Mount's terrible. Christian Pulisic can't get on the field. Kai Havertz does he kick a ball anymore, or is he just?
Yeah, he scored against Brighton.
Oh, that's
The
right.
one goal we
He
got.
scored the one goal against Brighton.
He's
Um,
he was really strong at the start of the season, I feel like, and I think he's kind of fizzled out, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. You have anybody else you want to throw on there?
Yeah, so I'll spotlight one guy and then I'll just kind of mention the other guy I had on my list. So my last spotlight here, Jude Bellingham for
Ooh,
Borussia Dortmund.
ooh.
I think this is the start of his breakout year. I think this is the season that gets him a 100 million euro, pound, dollar move to the Prem. I'm
Very
sure
true.
it'll be to like someone like Liverpool or United or something. He's got a 7.43 rating so far this season in 12 appearances with 3 goals and 1 assist. Played very consistently across World Cup qualifying and the Nations League with a 7.22 rating. Honestly, that was kind of rare to see in the Nations League, considering how poor their performance was overall. No goals or assists, but he's more of a midfielder, so that's not really something to harp on too much. But yeah, I think he could be, if given the chance, I think he could be an important player for them this season. Or I sorry, not this season. This tournament.
Yeah. You know, I was highlighting people to have a laugh, obviously, but um, he's one I'm definitely going to be watching a bit closer than other players for that exact reason. To see, I've heard a lot about him. I've played with his FIFA card, right, but I haven't actually seen him play much. So I'm gonna watch him a lot. Um, that right back spot at England as we move into predicted starting 11, that right back spot or right wing back, depending on how they play, is wide open right now because Trent's out of form. Reece James is hurt. So you're looking at Kieran Trippier, and that's it.
Well, Kyle Walker also, but
I saw he was also hurt.
he is also hurt, but I heard they were optimistic about him being able to play.
Okay, and I saw that they use him at center back as well. So
Yeah, he could potentially be a center back, depending on how they line up. So
yeah, that'll be interesting. Um, Starting 11 for me, I have him in a 3-4-2-1. I've got Pickford, of course, in the goal, best goalkeeper in the world. Stones. I've got Walker at center back because don't I don't get the need to make Eric Dyer or Harry Maguire play in this. I just don't get it. They've been terrible for club. They've been terrible for country. I don't get it. Let me rephrase. They've been terrible for country against teams that matter. I bet they shone playing against Andorra. I bet they were phenomenal. Um, I also put Fikayo Tomori in there. I think he's had a really good year with AC Milan from what I am reading up about. Um, he's been consistently in that group for a while now and is trying to work his way up. I think he deserves a shot. I think he's probably one of the more promising guys there. Um, of the center backs that they've tried, Connor Cody, we talked about that kind of earlier. Connor Cody could slide into that spot, but I'm going to start with Tamori there in the middle four. So the two wing players and the two holding midfielders, so to say. I've gone with Trent right now because they love a attacking fullback who can't score or who can't defend. Excuse me. Across the middle, I've got Rice and Henderson. I think Jordan Henderson comes in for a little bit of leadership and just kind of experience. The other choice there that I had was Jude Bellingham, as we mentioned, but I think Jordan starts and Jude comes in maybe second half or things like that. And then I've got Luke Shaw on the left back. That can be flipped between him or Ben Chilwell, depending on um, however they really want to play. But I think Luke Shaw has been getting most of the game time there. Starting up as we go forward, the middle two, I've got Sterling and Foden. Those two seem to be the go-to guys. Saka can slide in there, Mount can slide in there, Grealish can slide in there, and then up top, of course, Perry Payne. Really, that's the only one they got. Otherwise, you've got Grealish playing inverted because Tammy Abraham's okay. Ivan Toney's been good, but nobody's on his level. So
I feel like you're kind of sleeping on Tammy. I think Tammy's a really good backup to have. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who else they would take a striker. Can never could go Ivan Tony. I feel like you could never go wrong with some Jamie Vardy. Why not? Just bring him on to just mess things up, make it messy. All right.
anybody different from me?
Yeah, so I kind of went off script here a little bit.
How
Um,
dare you?
I went away from what I think that they'll do and went with more so with what I would do, I guess, if I
I'm
were
okay with
in
that.
Southgate's shoes. So I went with a 4-2-3-1 here, which is something I saw that they played at some point in time, but it seemed like more as of late they were going three at the back, which I feel like you kind of commented on this, but I don't think it's a good idea because they end up playing with like Eric Dyer, Maguire in the back three, and I think it's kind of a mess. Um, so I've gone back four here. At left back, I've actually got Kieran Trippier right now. I saw that they
At
were
left back,
yeah, they've been playing him there from what I saw for a little bit.
get him comments.
Listen, that's just what I saw from the lineups that were posted on Transfer Market. It looked like they were playing him at left back, and he's had such a good season with Newcastle so far this year. I feel like you find a way to get him in the team. And right back is so stacked that if you could switch him over to the left, I think that's great. The center backs, I've got Tamori and Stones. That was pretty easy for me. Any chance to not have Eric Dyer or Maguire in the back line is a good opportunity. And I didn't want to go with Kyle Walker in a two center back formation. Um, right back, I've got Kyle Walker as my first choice if he's healthy. If he's not, I have Trent in there as the right back. In the two deeper midfielders, I've got Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. I hear you on the Henderson shout, but I just feel like with Liverpool's form this year, I think Bellingham's got a shout to get in there. I don't know if that will actually happen. I feel like yours is the more likely scenario and that they'll go with Hendo, but I'd prefer to see Jude in there. Front three, sorry, not front three. Three attacking mids. This could definitely be like interchanged. Um, but I've gone with Foden, Mount, and Bukayo Saka. I think Saka's had a really strong year, Foden as well. I think Mount's form has picked up as of late, and I think he'll get a spot in there. Sterling is obviously in the mix as well as and Grealish, but I just think on form, those three feel like the better ones, in my opinion. I think Sterling's been a bit cooler lately, and Grealish doesn't seem to get too much game time. And then up top is Harry Kane. Oh, I forgot. In goal, I have Ramsdale, not Pickford, because I have a brain.
This is why we don't ask for your opinion and why we mute you when we
Who's
can.
we? Who's we?
Everybody.
That's not true.
Me and Grace. Me and Grace.
Okay, you and Grace. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. So yeah,
Leaving
that's how I would line up England.
leaving Sterling off is an interesting shout.
I don't think it will happen. I think it's more likely than not that he'll start. But in my opinion, I'd go with the hot hand there. And I think Foden and Saka have had stronger seasons than Sterling right now.
Okay. Um, so obviously one last question before we move on.
Yeah.
This team, it's super deep, right? We were talking about how many different players can slide in, how many different combinations they can make. Um, but they've been struggling. They've like we mentioned, they've got 2 wins this calendar year, been relegated from their Nations League group, got smacked around by a hungry team that was good, not great. Does that poor form carry into this World Cup group at all, do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised if it did linger a little bit as Southgate kind of tries to figure out what formation is best and what's going to work the best for him. I don't think it's enough that they'll like have some shocking can't get out of the group stage event, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if they did have a bit of a slower start.
Interesting. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm not super worried either. I know we talked about this a little bit. Yeah, I'm not super worried at all. I think again, I think that their opening match being against Iran is a good start for them, I think. Um, it allows them kind of all the teams that they could go against, right? That's probably the best one they can start with. They're the lowest rated. I mean, again, that's not saying much. It's 20 versus 5, but it's the best one. The U.S. match, no matter what we're playing or how we're doing, it's always going to be just a little bit more meaningful. And as is the Wales match. So the Iran match is a good way to get there, shake them out. Maybe if they get a draw there, something, they can rebound from that. But um, yeah, I'm not super worried. And will their lack of MLS players and their Euro snobism cause them to crash out of the group drastically?
Of course.
Yes, good. Well done. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Good. Shall we move on?
Yeah. Let's go for it.
Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to talk about?
Let's go for Iran.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
All right. So the first place winners of the AFC third round qualifying. They are now entering their third finals and their sixth finals and their third finals in a row. They have yet to leave the group stage. They made it six. This is now 6 times. They've yet to make it into the round of 16. And now they're in a very, very tough Group B, ranked 20th in the world. They will use the tactics of their Portuguese coach Carlos Queiroz to compete in this difficult Group B. Talk to me. How's their form looking?
Form's been a bit up and down lately. Last 5 games have been including a few different friendlies and I think a couple of lingering games from a recent international cup. I forget what it was, but last 5 games they got a 2-0 loss to South Korea, ranked 28, 2-0 win against Lebanon, ranked 99, 2-1 loss against Algeria, ranked 37, 1-0 win against Uruguay, ranked 14, and a 1-1 draw against Senegal, ranked 18. So pretty even across the board. 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. So
Yeah, and the wins, I mean, they come again, or the points that they got came against good competition, right? A draw against Senegal is great. A win against Uruguay is good. competing with a relatively strong Algeria side, beating the Lebanon side they should have, and that South Korea side is always going to be strong. So, um, you
Honestly,
know,
probably the best
the
form coming in out of any of the teams.
oh, easily, easily. Um, the issue for me is they're kind of kind of a one man attack.
They feel like a two-man attack, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the second man is kind of hurt.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I was gonna
right,
mention that when we got into it eventually.
yeah, right now. So will the teams in this group be able to pick that out? And that's what we're about to talk about. Key players, of course, for me. We'll start with the obvious one, Mehdi Taremi, the striker from Porto. He is easily the best, most informed striker for this Iranian team right now. Um, he is finishing goals for fun. He's got 27 goals in 60 appearances for the national team, 4 goals in 4 appearances in the Champions League, scoring two against Leverkusen, 2 against Bruges. He's a 3-time league top scorer. He won the Portuguese champ, the Portuguese Cup, 2-time Iranian championship. He's just going to be a monster. His movement's very good, strong in hold up play, explosive behind the back. He is going to find a way to hurt you at some point in this group.
Yeah, I love me some Mediterranean. I mean, admittedly, it's some bias from a football manager save that I have, but
Boo.
I'm a big fan of his. So I realize that he's going to be the biggest threat for that Iranian team. I guess I'll jump into their I guess number 2 guy that potentially isn't going to be there is Sardar Azmoun. Um, right now, from what I was understanding, is it seems like he might be pretty like doubtful to make it, which is going to be a pretty major loss for them, in my opinion. Um, he plays for Leverkusen. He's had 8 appearances this season, no goals or assists, a 6.6 rating. I believe that rating may be driven down by a number of sub appearances, so that might be, take that with a grain of salt. In World Cup qualifying, though, he was phenomenal. 10 goals and 4 assists in 14 games. And in their friendlies against Senegal, Algeria, and Uruguay, he got a goal against Senegal. So I think even though his numbers haven't looked super strong as of late, I think if he's out, that's going to hurt a lot because now everybody can turn their attention to solely on pretty much Mediterranean.
I agree. I remember in 2018, he was the guy. Like he was the guy you were like, okay, he's going to score all the goals. He's going to do all of the work. Watch out for him. Now Taremi's come up and kind of supported him in that. Um, you could get a really good two-headed monster there, or you have one with players on the flanks, which is kind of the way it seems like they're working. Um, he hasn't scored for Leverkusen. But 41 goals in 65 games for Iran is nothing to sneeze at. It was Russian League Player of the Year way back in 2019. Um, the dude can play.
Yeah.
So if he's healthy, watch out.
I mean,
Now
he's
my
not
last
nicknamed the Iranian Messi for nothing.
I remember those. I remember like pre 2018 Facebook was like all over this guy. Like watch out for him. He's going to be the man.
Yeah.
Um I feel I feel like it would be criminal if we left
Yeah,
off one
you can't
one
let
legend
me
of the.
I feel like I should be
Do you
talking
want to
about him.
highlight it, or do you want me to tell the story?
I can highlight him, but if you want to tell the story first, by all means.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and highlight him, and then I'll tell the story of why he's our legend to the pod.
All right. Well, I apologize ahead of time if I botch this name because this is not going to be easy. But
You botched him. He was your favorite player.
Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh, um, currently at Feyenoord, previously
Mm.
at Brighton, just to give a little context for what's about to come. He's got a 6.84 rating right now. 3 assists so far this season in 8 appearances. Also had a pretty strong World Cup qualifying, 5 goals, 2 assists in 12 games, and got 1 goal against Algeria in their recent run of friendlies. So okay form. Nothing great, but I'll let you hop onto the story. Go ahead.
We're we're
Have fun.
we're we're getting casual for this story. We're bringing the mic back. I'm leaning back in the chair.
Oh
So
boy.
let me flash back to a time. Let me get these numbers right before we go. Let's go over to uh, Iran. Click enter. Let's go ahead and click on this team. And there he is. All right. So when a good friend of ours was playing Fantasy Premier League in 2018, Brighton had just signed this guy. Record signing this guy is for their team as they just got promoted. And his name was Jahan Bakash, or however Connor pronounced it. And we're playing fantasy. We got 2 weeks left. Connor goes to play Big Brain. He drops a triple captain. Who does he triple captain? Not Parry Payne, not Kevin De Bruyne, not Raheem Sterling. He drops it on Jahan Bakash, who didn't even play in the double game week. He got 0 points out of a triple captain, and his reasoning. But guys, he was their record signing. Of
Well,
course, he was gonna be
that
good.
wasn't the sole reasoning. I
It was the majority of the reason. It was like, okay,
no
there was
no
a double
no. It was
game week.
not the
It was a
majority of the
double game
reasoning.
week. You had a ton of people who were playing, and you picked him over others because he was bought for more money. Euro snobism.
In my opinion, he was the best option for the double game week, and I needed to do something different because if I just picked the same captain as the person in first place, guess what? The math, I can't make up any ground.
Hey, you ever won Fantasy Premier League before?
I have multiple times.
When?
What do you mean when?
I don't remember.
I won it our first season, and then I won it. I won it last year.
I literally don't remember. I only remember when I won the double.
I'm
Great
currently
time.
in the lead right now too for the draft, and I'm in
Oh,
second
we
place
don't
for
talk
the
about
other
draft. You
one.
can't triple captain in draft. Anyways,
Surprisingly enough,
um,
that's not my worst triple captain ever.
I know this Zlatan triple captain is still legendary.
Yeah, because of
Um,
course Zlatan had to miss a pen.
and get a red, didn't he? Didn't he double up?
It was some. I ended up with like -6 points. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Anyways, 13 goals and 64 appearances for Jahan Bakash. Um, he's going to be supplying the wide service to Remy, Asmoon, anybody. If they're both up there, individually up there, it doesn't matter. He's the one providing the service, so a guy to keep an eye on for sure. Anybody else you want to highlight?
Nope, that's all I had.
All right, predicted 11. I've got him in a 4-1-4-1.
Of course.
And yeah, my apologies for names. This is going to get bad. In goal, I've got Abedzadeh. He's been recently the guy taking over most of the qualifying goalkeeping, and it seems to be the next man up. So I think it's his goal to take. Right back to left back, going across, I've got Moharam Rami. Gosh, this is gonna be bad. In the two center back spot, I've got Kanani, Hosseini, and Haj Safi. In the DM spot, I've got Ezatolahi, and then going right to left in the front four, Jahan Bakash, Godos, Nurulahi, Golizade, and then up front Taremi, and then if Asmoon is there, he can flip in as well. Wow. I now do not. I'm not. I now apologize for everything I laughed at you about for the Qatar. Which, if you haven't seen, by the way, go check out last episode where we tried to pronounce Qatari names. It was great.
It's on TikTok right now.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I applaud you for the effort. That was never going to be easy. And the good news for me is that I have basically the exact same lineup, so I don't have to read through all the names on my end.
Who's the other one that you changed?
The only thing that I had changed, I had Asmoon in my lineup. I guess just kind of on the hope or assumption that he's there. So I had him at striker. I had Taremi on the left, and then I had Golizade. I had him in like the right central midfield spot. But assuming Azmoun is out, then yeah, I would probably be along. I would be on the same lines as what you had. I would
Yeah.
just kind of shift them around a little bit.
And as we mentioned, of course, this is not going to be a 3-game starting line. It's going to change. Yellow card, accumulation, injuries,
Yeah,
tactics. It's all going to change. So
of
this is
course.
just kind of who we think is going to take game one.
Yeah, this is from two people who have zero experience with this national team as well. So
Correct.
take that with a grain of salt.
So my question for you, outside of this main core of attackers, right? The Brentford and the Brightons and Porto and all them. Most of these players are either second division players or straight from the Iranian league. Do they have is the star power that they have enough to get them across the line?
I would say if they were fully healthy, yes. Without Azmoun, I think it's going to be a lot tougher. One of the things I said about Qatar is that even though they didn't have like players playing in these top 5 leagues or in these super strong other leagues like Portugal or the Netherlands, what they did have was the chemistry and the knowledge of playing with each other week in, week out, playing in the Qatari league. I feel like that was the benefit when Iran is fully healthy of them playing in the Irani league together. So I feel like, and one thing that separated Iran from Qatar, in my opinion, was that Iran did have the star power with Mehdi Taremi and with Sardar Azmoun and with Jahan Bakhsh. So I think if they were fully healthy, they're absolutely a threat to get out of this group. Without Azmoun, I think it's going to hurt a lot, though.
All right. To me, I don't know if it's enough to get them across the line because their I'm going to say quote unquote weak points are um in the important positions, right? Their center back spots, their goalkeeper spots. Um the spots you kind of need somebody to be a bit stronger in. So I'm going to say it's not enough. I don't think that they're going to get blown out by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know if they're going to be um, super. They're not going to get across the line. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Well, we only have one team left before the United States, so let's talk the Welsh, led by MLS legend Gareth Bale.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff winners versus Austria and Ukraine in the UEFA playoff round. The Welsh are entering their second ever World Cup final, the last being 1958. To be kind about it, they're a 19th ranked team in the world, led by Robert Page, a Welshman himself. A one-man attack with a relatively decent back line and an old midfield. So this is a to me. This is a tough ask for them. Talk to me about their form in the last 5 games.
They're kind of in the same boat as England, to be completely honest with you. A pretty rough showing at the Nations League has been their most recent games. In fairness to them, though, they did have a very tough group. Most last 5 games have got a 2-1 loss to the Netherlands, who are ranked 8, 1-1 draw to Belgium, ranked 2, 3-2 loss to the Netherlands, a 2-1 loss to Belgium, and a 1-0 loss to Poland, who's ranked 26. So tough competition, but wasn't able to pull out the results.
Yeah, and we talked about the playoff that they had to go through versus Austria and Ukraine. Fix that really quick. They scored 3 goals in those games, all of them from Mr. Ballet. So when I say one-man team, I don't mean like it's just him and a bunch of people who can't tie their shoes, but it really only goes through one guy. So if we go to key players, Gareth Bale or Bale, depending on how you want to pronounce it, it's satire. You're allowed to laugh, listeners. Um, the only note I have here really is MLS makes the world takes. We can move on from there.
Sure. Fair enough.
Bale scored all 3 goals in that playoff round. He can play anywhere along the front line. Pace, strength, skill, intelligence. He was really good at sitting on the bench and collecting trophies. So I don't know if he'll try and do that again here, but he's doing that with LA right now. So man knows how to get himself some silverware without actually doing much. But when he is on the field, he's dangerous. He's quick. He's smart and he's skillful. So definitely the player to watch in this Welsh team. I think everybody knows that. Who else are we watching?
Well, I have none other than Mr. Meep Meep himself, Dan James,
So do I.
currently playing for Fulham. Has a 6.69 rating this season for them. 10 appearances, no goals or assists. World Cup qualifying for him resulted in 2 goals and 2 assists in 10 games. And the Nations League in 6 games, he had 0 goals and 0 assists with a 6.88 rating. So not the best season so far for Dan James, to say the least.
Yeah. He's jumped around a little bit. Leeds, Man United, Fulham. Super fast. He's going to get your defenders turned the wrong way. He's going to cause problems. Um, Again, he can play in the wings. He can start in that attacking midfield role, or he can play as a second striker if you need him to. Um, he does have trouble, at least from what I've watched of him. And again, that was a couple of years ago. So he did have trouble finding the net whenever he was in good positions. He would put it wide or at the goalkeeper. So expect him to supply more service. But yeah, pace is going to destroy the defenders on this team, or the teams that he plays. Excuse me. Yeah, yeah. That's really what you bring him in for. Get him behind, cause some trouble, see what we can get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, run hard, tire out some legs, and just draw as much attention away from Bale as you can.
Yeah. My last highlighted player is Neco Williams.
Same here.
No way, bruh.
Yeah. Winning.
Boop. Nice. Um, so this right back, taking over the reins from one Chris Gunter, super promising, from all the signs that we've been reading about and seeing about. Uh, Currently at, oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I got something stuck in my throat. Hold on. All better.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm not dying. It's okay. So I believe he's currently at Nottingham Forest.
Yep.
Yep. And playing in most of the games. He's got 13 appearances, which I believe is the number of games they played already. He's got 22 appearances for the Welsh team as well. He went 90 minutes in 3 of their 5 Nations League games that they played, and played 90 minutes in both playoff games. He does have the ability to play on both sides of the ball. He doesn't get on the scoreboard much. He's not like a Trent Alexander-Arnold where he's going to create all these chances and get assists and goals and whatever. But he positionally does the job that he needs to do. So, um, I think he's one to watch, not only for his contribution to the team, but for what he can do for himself.
Nice. I'm here. I'm on board with it. He was my pick also.
What else you got?
Hmm?
Anybody else?
Nope. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. So predict some starting 11 for me.
All right. I don't remember if I kind of went off the wall on this one or if I was trying to match what they had, but I've gone for a 3-4-2-1 here with Wayne Hennessy in goal, Joe Rodon, however you say it, in the back line with Chris Meffam and Ben Davies. The 2 deeper midfielders I have are Aaron Ramsey and Ethan Ampadu. The, I guess, attacking fullbacks are Neco Williams on the left and Connor Roberts on the right. And then the attacking trio, the two deeper I've got are Brennan Johnson and Dan James, and then Gareth Bale up top.
Okay. I have a different shape than you. I'm rocking a 3-4-1-2. I'm sorry, a 3-4-2-1. Numbers are hard.
That's what I have.
Um, no, I thought you had four in the back.
No, I've got three in the back.
Did you? You said you played Ben Davies at center back?
Yeah, they've played him there.
You're out of your mind.
It's not my call. They played him there. I'm going off what they did.
Um, so for me, I've got Danny Warden goal. I don't think Wayne Hennessy. I mean, I think Wayne Hennessy can do the job, but I think it's Danny Ward's goal.
I think it should be
Um,
Danny Ward's goal, but they
yeah, yeah,
playing Wayne Hennessy instead.
yeah. I mean, this might be Hennessy's last run, but in the back three, I've got Ethan Ampadu, I've got Mempham, and I've got Radon. Then right to left in the four pack, I've got Neko Williams, Aaron Ramsey, Joe Allen if he's healthy, and then Williams if he isn't, and then Davies on the left side there. In that front two, I've got Dan James and Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson if he's healthy. If not, you can move Williams up there. I mean, there are a whole bunch of people you can put in that second spot. They got a couple of attacking fullbacks there that can do a job. And then Bale up top. And if he's not healthy, Kiefer Moore will take that spot. And we didn't highlight Kiefer Moore, but he's been a mainstay in that team for a while now. I don't think there's any issue with him fitting in, doing the job. I think he'll be totally fine. But yeah, definitely somebody to watch. So it seems to me that if Iran takes Stephen Beitashour to the World Cup, then Penguin will be the only team without an MLS player, which means immediate fourth place finish.
I mean, I can't argue with facts.
Correct. But here's the real thing. Really, this is, as we mentioned, a one-man side. So if Bale isn't healthy, do they even stand a chance?
On paper, I feel like they should still be competitive, but I think it's going to be super hard for them to get through without Bale. And I think even if they have Bale needs to be playing well. It has me a little worried for them, the fact that Bale has just not been playing really at all for LAFC. He's been on the bench most of the time. And when he does play, he comes in as a sub. So
Correct.
I am a bit worried for them, to be honest with you, because everything has felt so driven through Bale and only Bale.
Yeah, and Bale, I mean, they're saying they're holding him out for injury or precaution or load management or whatever this garbage is. But you don't get to do that in the World Cup. You get 3 games, and if you don't perform, you're out. So
Yeah.
you don't get to work on that. So yeah, I'm a bit worried for them as well. We'll see how worried when we get to our predictions. Foreshadow.
Ooh. Shall we?
Shall we move on
What everybody's been waiting for?
to the future 2022 World Cup champions, the 16th ranked team in the world, led by the teacher of the behind the back bounce pass masterclass, Greg Berhalter, baby. He's going to take his infinite MLS knowledge and make all of our players playing in the top 5 leagues of Europe accept his system and play it the way he wants to play it. They will fold to his power. I love that. They qualified as the 3rd place team in the octagonal for the first time since 2014. 2018 didn't really happen, so they're back to back. They may have celebrated early, but they made it, and that's okay. A lot of people are considering them to have a strong chance to move on in this group. I'm not quite sure. The issues of scoring, especially in big games, is more than prevalent in this side, and they're They're going to depend on non-consistent number 9 play, weak center back pairings, and goalkeepers who do not play regularly in their club
Oh
to
yeah,
get them
let's
through.
go. The
Woohoo!
USA way, baby.
USA, USA, USA. Oh, I
It's
don't
a
want
new
to, but
era.
talking about their last. Go ahead.
It's a new era. We've moved on from the 40-year-old MLS veterans, and now we're moving on to backups in top 5 leagues. You can't tell me we haven't advanced.
Right to my veins. I don't really want to hear it, but give me their last 5.
Oh yeah, you don't want to hear it. Last 5 games have included a mix of friendlies and a couple of Nations League qualifying games in there. We've got a 0-0 draw against Uruguay, a 5-0 win against Grenada, 1-1 draw against El Salvador, 2-0 loss against Japan, and a 0-0 draw against Saudi Arabia. I forgot the rankings. Uruguay is 14, Grenada is 173, El Salvador is 74, Japan 24, and Saudi Arabia 51.
And something that's not in there, but a little less important, 3-0 win against Morocco in those friendlies as well.
I think Morocco was the 6th most recent.
It
game,
was the
so
6th
yeah.
game, but I figured I needed something to brighten the day up, right?
What do you mean? We got a 5-0 win against Grenada. How much more bright do you
176
need
in
to
the
get?
world to my veins. There are some important players here. I'm going to start with the obvious.
Just say Tyler Adams already. We know it's Tyler Adams.
I really wanted to say Brian White. I really wanted to. Christian Pulisic, the guy who is meant to be the savior of our country's team. He's supposed to be the next Donovan or the next Dempsey.
He's the LeBron James of soccer.
The LeBron James of soccer who can't break into his own club starting 11. When he's on the pitch, he's tricky. He's dynamic. He can change the game whenever he wants. If, and only if, he's on his game that day. But he has this tendency against good teams to ghost. He'll start losing the ball. He'll start getting upset. And he will ghost. He'll ghost out of games. The success in this tournament will directly correlate to Christian Pulisic's success. That is my statement. I will post it wherever you want me to post it. That is the statement I'm done with.
Anything else to add, or that's it?
Nope, that's what I'm going to leave right there. If you can add on to it.
All right, I'll just add some numbers onto his play. He's got a 6.62 rating so far this season for Chelsea. 1 goal, 1 assist, 11 appearances. But as you said, can't find consistent game time right now. And that's despite the fact that from all the numbers I've seen thrown around on Twitter, he has been like one of their better attackers. And for some reason, no manager wants to give him a shot. I don't really understand it, but all right. Internationally, he had 5 goals, 0 assists in 10 appearances for World Cup qualifying. 3 of those goals did come in one game, though. And then in friendlies, he got a goal against Morocco and no goals or assists against Saudi Arabia, and he did not play against Japan.
It worries me, and we've talked about this a lot. It worries me that he might have too much pressure on him from when he started as the young, promising guy in the group of old guys, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody was talking about Pulisic is the guy, or Pulisic is the guy, however you want to pronounce it. And it's almost like even though he's got all these world-class players around him, he feels like he's got to do it all himself, which he has the ability to do. Don't get me wrong. But he doesn't have to do it. And I think in key moments, he thinks, okay, it's on my shoulders. I'm going to get it done. When in reality, he doesn't need to do that. And that's my worry with him. And the point that I made before, where when he goes against tough teams, he'll switch off because he's trying to do so much, failing, which is going to happen against good defenders, and he kind of just ghosts, right? And that's my worry.
Yeah, I 100% understand that. And I'm thinking back to the Nations League and thinking about the other guys that stepped up and kind of helped take that pressure off of him. Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, even in World Cup qualifying when Pepe came in and he was scoring goals, taking some of the spotlight off of Christian. I think stuff like that will help big time. So I think If we can get a healthy Gio Reyna, that helps him immensely. If we can get a continued red hot Ricardo Pepi, that helps immensely. If we can get a healthy Weston McKennie, that helps immensely. So I
You're
completely agree
missing
with
one
you.
name. You're missing one name.
Yunus Musa, you're right.
Norwich City's own.
Joshua Sargent.
Who is your player to watch? Your second one.
I've got Weston McKennie on there. I know he
Okay.
just got injury news, and I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that he is healthy for the World Cup because we need him.
I haven't even looked it up yet. How bad is it supposed to be?
I don't think I remember it looking like it was going to be bad, but I'm also not super optimistic because I know he's been hurt before. He's going to hurt me too if he's not playing. But yeah, I think West will be hugely important to this team if he is healthy. He brings so much energy and athleticism to the midfield. He's a threat on corners, as we saw in that Nations League game against Mexico. He's had 1 goal and 1 assist so far in 11 appearances for Juve. In World Cup qualifying, he had 2 goals in 7 appearances. No goals or assists against Morocco, Japan, or Saudi Arabia, but he is a staple in that 3-man midfield that I think is arguably the US's strongest area. So I think he's hugely important. And if we lose him to injury, that's going to hurt a ton. Even though I do like the US's backup options, I think what Weston McKennie can bring to the table is just super hard to replace.
What I'm seeing is 15 days. So he'll be fit 6 or 7 days before.
That's all I need to hear. That's perfect.
If recovery goes well.
Knock on wood.
If it doesn't,
It's gonna go well.
now, oh my
Optimism.
goodness. Have you seen the injury report for the USMNT?
Yeah, I mean everybody's hurt. It's like
Luca de la
Turner,
Torre tore his
Aronson,
hamstring.
Luca Torre's hamstring.
Yeah. His World Cup status may be in doubt. Great. Tyler Adams, minor injury.
I
Matt
think he'll be
Turner
okay.
missed
He
out on
just
his
came back.
Europa League match due to a groin injury.
I think Turner will be okay too. Arteta said he thinks it's a minor thing.
Oh my God, we're finishing dead last.
Is Aronson officially out?
No, I haven't seen anything on him.
I know
He
he's
played
hurt.
today. Or
He
he played
played today?
yesterday.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
whenever Leeds played, he played.
All right, that's promising.
Um, Speaking of my second player to watch,
Mm-hmm.
the actual savior of the men's national team and the best winger in our group, Brendan Aronson. A member of MLS United, aka Leeds. He has created, if I remember the number correctly, the 9th most chances in the Premier League this season. In a Leeds team that's pretty much bottom of the table. So it's going to be like the exact same for the U.S. men's national team, where he's going to create all these chances, and their number 9s are going to be 4 yards out and put it over the bar. It's going to be great. He'll fit right in. Listen, his play style, he's explosive. He presses really well. He's super dynamic. His movement's great, and he doesn't take no for an answer. If he wants the ball, he will get the ball. He has that game-changing ability that Pulisic also possesses. But he does it in the form of nonstop, I'm going to get you, kill you, running. I believe he will be vital to creating a ton of chances, especially if Weston's hurt. Throw him in there, let Weah play or Reyna play on the wing. No problem. I didn't have a lot of his number stats because again, Leeds are not doing phenomenally well outside of their win over Liverpool this week. However, I think he brings something as a player that most players in this pool don't.
Fair enough.
Who's your next guy?
Last guy on my list is Gio Reyna. Playing for Dortmund, has probably the same hype as Christian Pulisic has, but can't seem to stay healthy. Luckily, knock on wood, at the moment he is healthy right now. But he brings some great quality on the wings when he is healthy. I think if he can come in here and like I was saying before, alleviate some of the pressure off of Pooley, that's huge. That's going to be super helpful. Um, he hasn't played a ton so far this season because again he was battling injury. He's got 7 appearances and 1 goal so far, and in international he does not have a goal or assist for a little while now. But I still think that he can have a pretty big role with the team here. He's got the experience of playing with them from the Nations League and a little bit from World Cup qualifying, and we know that he has the talent. I just really hope that he could stay healthy, and when he's out there and he can produce at that level that we know he can do.
Yeah, no disagreements there. It's always health, especially with him. It's always going to be health.
It's health with most of these guys, honestly. At this point, everybody's getting banged up at some point.
Our golden generation is made of golden paper.
It's not our golden generation. Don't say that. We're only going to get better.
Stop it. I do have one more. You did allude to him earlier. Red Bull makes the world takes Aaron Long. No, I'm just kidding. Tyler Adams, and there's an actual reason behind this. Playing in that 6 role that he's going to be in, his importance is super, super big. It's very important, but it's amplified because we don't know who's playing at the second center back spot, and our goalkeeper is not playing in his club, whoever it's going to be, unless it's Sean Johnson, which I'm here for.
Or Ethan.
The more that he can keep the ball away from our center backs and our goalkeeper, the better off we're going to be. So his importance is vital to the success of this team. And that's the reason I put him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think he honestly might be the most important player in the team right now. I mean, he's arguably the most important player of the team when they're normally healthy and we have a strong second center back. But I think right now, even more so, he's going to be super important. And I'm pretty sure has he been taking the captain's band lately for the team?
Yeah, he has. He's held it a few times.
I loved what I saw from him this last weekend when Aronson got hit by Robertson. He came over immediately to defend him. That's exactly what I want to see from a captain. So I'm on board with him keeping that at captain's armband.
Yeah, that's a dream, right? Adams goes in, has the armband, and then when he's getting subbed off, hands it directly to Aaron Long. Right to my veins. Right to my veins.
We were so close. We were doing so great, and then you just derailed it.
Oh, come on.
No. You derailed it. No, there's no come on.
You derailed it.
What's next?
Predict your 11.
Oh boy,
If you say
fun.
something dumb, I'm gonna punch you.
Oh, I'm going to. You are gonna punch me. 4-3-3. It's the obvious formation. I'll be honest with you. I just went with what I wanted here. I fully understand that Greg will not play this because Greg wants us to lose. But
Yo.
all right, that obviously that's not true. Greg obviously wants us to win. But I've got Turner in goal, assuming he's healthy. I've got a back 4 of Anthony Robinson. At center back 2, I've done a complete 180 on this guy. I've got Tim Ream. And I've got him next to Walker Zimmerman. And I've got Dest at right back.
Oh, mute.
What do you
Stop.
mean mute? We'll talk about it after I finish going through.
Oh.
I've got the midfield 3, assuming Weston's healthy, of Adams, McKinney, and Musa. That's the obvious one. And then my attacking 3, and I'm open to changing this, and I'll explain it after I say it. But I've got Reyna, Pulisic, and Pepe right now. And I will explain. I understand that Brandon Aronson has been superb this season, but one of the things that and as you mentioned as well, he's great at pressing. He's great at having a really high work rate. I would prefer to have that when he's playing against dead legs. Bring him on in like the 50th minute. He has versatility. He can come in and play Musa's spot. He can play Pooley. He could play in Reyna's spot. Just have him come in, run super hard, go against the tired legs when he has that insane energy rush. So I prefer him in that role. I'm sure he will mix in and start games as well. But I just think talent wise, at their best, Reyna and Pooley are better than Aronson.
I can't believe you're really out here defending not putting Aronson in and just completely ghosting over the fact that you put Ricardo Pepi in over literally anybody else.
We talked about that. We talked about this earlier in the year. We talked about it should be the most informed striker for the U.S. And Pepi has been on fire since he got his move.
Give me Josh Sargent then.
Sargent hasn't done anything in his last 3 games. Pepi has got like 5 goals and 1 assist in his last like 7 games. I'm going with the most informed guy at the moment. I'm not opposed to Sargent being in there, but I think at the moment Pepi has a bit more. He's a bit more informed than Sargent.
Why do I have a co-host on podcast? I don't get it. Like,
oh, so I'm sorry I didn't do exactly what you did.
So you're supposed to add intelligent comments, not sound like an idiot.
Go ahead. Go tell me how you're gonna put players in this team that aren't even gonna make the squad.
All right, in goal, Luis Robles comes out of retirement. No, I've got Matt Turner.
Entire Red Bull team. Aaron Long's in there. Matt Miazga.
Brian White, Alex Maweel, Dax McCarty. We're bringing back 2018 Red Bull right to the veins, baby. Let's do it. Sean Davis, get in there, buddy.
All right, tell me what you really got.
I've got Matt Turner in goal, of course, if he's not healthy. Zach Steffen or Sean Johnson. Honestly, I'd put Sean Johnson in over Zach Steffen. We've had this conversation already, but I don't think that's a hot take.
I don't think fully opposed to it.
I mean, listen, Sean Johnson is playing at the top of his level right now. Zach Steffen is like bang average for Middlesbrough in the championship.
All right, you said
it. Anyways, Dest, Zimmerman, Robinson on left back. My second center back, Cameron Carter-Vickers. Absolutely.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm okay with that.
So why are you playing Tim Ream in a system that involves high pressing and one-on-one defending when he can't run faster than 45 pace?
That's because Tim Ream has been superb for Fulham this year. Fulham are like top half of the league. He's played almost every game.
I'm not saying he can't join us. Because I genuinely, the more that I watch and the more that I genuinely agree that he should be at least in the conversation. If Aaron Long comes and Tim Ream doesn't, Greg should be fired on the spot. I'm not disagreeing with you. But he doesn't start. He doesn't.
Listen, this is all a waste of time because we know Aaron Long's just going to start anyway. So what's the point in this argument? Both of us are going to be wrong.
It's gonna be Aaron Long and like Mark McKenzie.
I would be okay with Mark McKenzie, but I don't think Mark McKenzie's gonna make the team at this point.
No, I don't think so either. Adams, Musa, McKennie. Obviously, if McKennie's hurt, we talked about it. Either Brendan Aronson drops in, or Kellen Acosta can come in and do a totally fine job. I'm not worried about him.
I would love to see Kellen Acosta come CONCACAF it up.
Oh my God! And the Euro snobs cry as he's laughing in their face.
Hook it to my veins.
My front three for game 1, and game 2 could be completely different if they don't show up.
Of course.
Christian Pulisic on the left, Brendan Aronson on the right, Jordan Pefok up top. Because I would
love Pefok to start, but Pefok's not even in the team. Greg doesn't call him in.
I don't know if Pefok's coming. I agree. I think that's who should be there. I think he is playing on a team. Like, again, we're talking about form, right? And he's maybe not in the best form, but he's playing for a Union Berlin side that as at least top 5. I haven't checked the table in a while.
They're top. They're top of the Bundesliga.
Top. They beat Gladbach today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't deny having him around. I don't know. Maybe if you want to go form, again, I'll go. If we're going form, I'll go Sargent first. Pepi has not done anything for me in the World Cup. Neither is Sargent. No number 9. We're playing with 10 men. Everybody else gets on the bench. We'll deal with it later because I'm not picking one. Bro, I could put on a U.S. men's national team jersey right now and do the same amount of work that they have.
Listen, Pepe's last 6 games, or maybe 5. I'm not sure if this game has happened yet. So last 5 games, 5 goals in his last 5 games. I will pull up Sargent right now. Sargent in his last 5 has like 2 goals.
While you do that, and P Fox got 0. He hasn't scored in a while, so
PFOC
I don't
has
disagree.
kind of slowed down.
Yeah, he started off hot and he dropped off.
Sargent's got 2 in his last 5, and Norwich have not won a game in those last 5.
Shows
Not
you how
that that's
important
his
it is.
fault, but
So here's the deal. Team can't score, and we don't know who's playing at center back. Our goalkeepers don't play at club level. Any level of confidence going into this group? Where are you at?
yeah, I mean, I'm still confident. I think the other teams are also in bad form. Some of them are also going through a little bit of injury spell. Honestly, almost every team has some kind of injury going on. I still have confidence in them. If Weston's healthy, we have a super strong midfield. We need Pooley to play at his best, which may or may not happen. But even if he doesn't, I think we have good options to help him out with Reyna or Aronson. I don't love the back line, but I think they can do enough to keep us in games. I still do have confidence. I still think this team is more than capable of getting out of the group. And I think it will be a bad look for the team if they don't.
So this team has given me minimal confidence over the last however many games, and I carry that into the World Cup. We can't score. Our defense, if it continues to be the way Greg likes it to be, is in shambles. Goalkeeper still undecided. I don't know. I'm worried. I'm very, very worried, and you'll see in my predictions why.
I don't think the defense is as bad as you're making it out to be. Considering last 5 games, they have 3 clean sheets. And the most they given
Yeah.
up was 2 to Japan. Which I get it. It's not great. And the scoring could be better, considering we only scored 1 goal outside of Granada. And it was against El Salvador.
I think we come out flat against Iran. I think Wales.
Well, we start with Wales, so I don't know why we're coming out flat against Iran.
No, I mean in the game against Iran. I think we're going to take them way too lightly. I think Wales will be up for it, but so will they. My biggest worry is the way that Greg is going to run the team, and I don't trust him.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I think Greg is honestly, I think Greg's the biggest if factor for the US.
Mm-hmm. It is, and a lot of coaches are that way, but being that we've watched this team every time they played, it's a big if factor for us. So I'll let you go predictions 4-1. Go ahead.
All right. 4-1. Honestly, this group is so tough. I could have almost any different combination here, but I'm going to go with Wales at 4, Iran at 3, US at 2, and England at 1.
Interesting. Okay. For me, I'm putting the bad vibes out there because we know how negative reinforcement works, at least on this podcast. I've got Wales at 4. I've got the men's national team from the United States at 3. I've got Iran at 2, and I've got Penguin at 1.
I'm just surprised if Iran was fully healthy, I'd understand that more. But I just think it's similar to Wales in that I think everything's going to have to go through Mehdi Taremi. I feel like we have enough to stop that, even if we're not at our best.
I don't know. I have zero faith in anything anymore. I'm a Red Bull fan. I've lost faith in everything a long time ago.
I can understand that.
But that's it. Those are our predictions. Those are our previews for Group B. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, or do whatever you got to do to make sure that you can see the next episode that will come out on Wednesday for Group C. Make sure you're following us on all forms of social media so you know when we post clips and you can catch out the little clips of your favorite parts of the episode. Comment with us, interact with us, things like that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We're all over there. And anything else you want to add, Connor?
Nope.
All righty. Well, then we will catch you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.